It's Thursday, May 21st, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. What a horrible way to start the show. I'm your host, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Mike Bennett. Frog creeping in my throat. We got a great show for you today. Excited to dive into things. Chat is already going crazy. We got a poll right now in the chat if you're watching live. What would you rather do for, I think it is $1 million? If we can just open up that poll, save a McDavid breakaway, defend Messi one-on-one, return a serve from Yannick Sinner, or block a pass rush from Myles Garrett. I would not want to do a pass rush rep versus Myles Garrett. I'll tell you that much. Let us know in the chat down below. You can vote as we are live right now. And I mentioned we have a great show for you today. Batting leadoff, we got Nick Giffen coming on. We're going to talk some Indy 500. He came on a couple weeks ago to talk some IndyCar racing. Really excited to get pick his brain, get some more knowledge on that. Should be a lot of fun, a lot of opportunity to be betting there. After that, we got Drunken Goon coming on last week of the Premier League. Tons of stuff going on, tons of action. I wonder if we're going to maybe find a little bit of an edge. You know, Villa just played this past week, won the Europa League. Are they going to be hungover? Do they have a chance against Man City maybe? Or are the books not pricing that in enough? Some teams care, some teams don't. So we're going to try and find those spots for you guys. Plus, we'll get a little bit of MLS action. And if there's time, we'll talk some World Cup. Then finally, we close out the show with Vlad Sedler. We're going to talk MLB player level stuff, team level stuff, just anything MLB related. If you have some in-depth questions about certain players, I know I do. Got Gunnar Henderson on my fantasy team. Need to figure that one out. We're going to be picking Vlad's brain for all of that. Do us a huge favor. If this is your first time watching the show, subscribe to the channel. And if you've been here before and you're already subscribed, you know the drill. Smash the like button and drop a comment down below how excited you are for today's show. All right. I'm just still thinking a little bit about this, and I think I'm stuck between save a McDavid breakaway and return a Yannick Sinner serve. Just because I feel like I can luck into a Sinner serve, and with the McDavid breakaway, you're wearing so much equipment. You can go Andre Vasilevsky and just wear stuff that's 7 times the actual size of your body and luck into a save here. Defending Messi one-on-one would be tough.
Yeah.
He's short. He's fast. Myles Garrett, no chance. I don't need a concussion. I'm good without that. All right, let's get into today's show. Excited. There's a lot of conversation in the chat as well. Don't worry, Kirko's going to be on for tomorrow's show. We got a load show for us here today. Before we get into things, just quickly, I want to give a shout out to our good friends over at FanDuel, because this postseason, it's all about the boosts. Because game day means your chance to boost your bet and make every play pay off. That's right. All customers get a profit boost tonight, so every bucket counts just a little bit more. The pace is fast. The game never stops. And with FanDuel, you've got more ways to make every win even bigger. So lock in your bets, boost your odds, and make every night count with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Head over to FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliates, Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is not withdrawable profit boost token. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelp.ma.org or call 1-800-750-50 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-Y or text HOPE-Y in New York. All right. Let's get ready. Let's dive in to today's show. Let's bring in our first guest here. He's a math PhD, a predictive analyst over at the Action Network. Nick Giffen, how's it going today?
Hey, doing great. Excited for the biggest motorsports weekend of the year, Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600, and of course F1 no longer at Monaco, but Montreal.
All right, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I want to talk to you about, of course, the Indy 500. The Indy 500. But quickly, I noticed you're wearing your Knights, Knights shirt. I know that you're a Knights fan here. Let's slip in a little bit of hockey talk. How about that win last night? No Cale Makar, no Mark Stone for your Golden Knights, but you guys were able to pull it off. Go Knights, go! Talk me through what it was like watching that game.
Yeah, the first period was super tight. I mean, 0-0 period, and Vegas started off pretty solid. I thought, took the early shots lead and had some good possession. And then Colorado really poured it on at the end of the first. But then in the second, we found the breakthrough, and all of a sudden 1 goal became 3 goals, and we were sitting pretty. So I'm not a hockey analyst by any means. I just love watching my Golden Knights. I'm just a fan of them. I don't watch too much NHL outside of them, but I lived in Vegas when they first started, so that's how I became a big fan.
Yeah, no, you picked a great team to follow as well, and kudos to you guys for scooping up one of the best wingers in the world, and Mitch Marner as a Leafs fan. You guys are absolutely cooking with that one. I'm rooting for him. I don't know if many people in the city are. Anyways, let's get into the show for today. I really think, honestly, just as an aside, I think the Knights have a good chance if Cale Makar does not play for the next couple of games. I really think there's a good chance you guys can beat the Colorado Avalanche. Let's get into the Indy 500, though. For a newcomer who's watching this for their first time, what should we be looking for in the first few laps?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you asked this, because if you're a newcomer, when they start 3 wide for all 33 cars, so 11 rows of 3. Just take it in. I wouldn't be looking for anything. I would just be absorbing how cool it is, because that's the closest the whole field is going to be all race. Watch the daring passes, because some of these guys starting towards the back, your Joseph Newgardens, your Kyle Kirkwoods, they're going to be looking to charge through the field as early as possible. Soak it in and watch it, because it's going to be the most passing of the whole race right at the start. But that's also your cue to kind of what to look for in betting if you want to live bet the Indy 500, right? Who's making those early passes? But the Indy 500 is still a long race. It's a long race. Who's also good on the long run? After about 10 or 15 laps, then see who's starting to make those passes on the long run. That's going to be really telling of who has a good car for the whole 500 miles.
All right. Let's talk about the racers themselves, the drivers themselves. I believe it's Paolo's plus 250 right now, is starting from the pole as the defending champ. Is he the clear favorite, or is this, with this being like, again, a long 500-mile race, does that sort of level the playing field here, and is pole not as important?
Both. Alex Palou is definitely the favorite. He's the defending series champion. He's won, 3 or 4 series champions. I've lost count at this point. That's how dominant he is. Defending Indy 500 winner, pole sitter. He's done everything to where he should be the favorite, but it is the Indy 500. It is the most unpredictable race one of the most unpredictable races on the IndyCar calendar, I will say. Wide open this year. I really believe this field is wide open. And Palou has only won 2 career oval races, the Indy 500 last year, and then the Iowa race last year as well. All his other wins have come on road or street courses where you're turning left and right instead of just turning left. So, it doesn't make him a prohibitive favorite. In Indy, we're going so fast, and these cars blow such big holes through the air that the draft plays such a huge effect that Palou is not going to be able to check out like he does in some of these other races. The second place is going to be right on his tail. And all it takes is one strategy mistake, one bobble, and, he could lose a few spots and have a hard time making them back up.
Yeah, you mentioned strategy here, and that's obviously huge for, again, such a long race. Talk us through like the sort of strategy you think is optimal for winning a race like this, in your opinion, and plus like with the weather, I read it's going to be drier. So talk us through like in terms of mileage, pit timing, tire wear, like what's the optimal strategy here for a winning driver?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's multiple strategies that can get you to the win at Indy, but I think the one thing that we'll hear about through the whole race is fuel saving, right? And what fuel saving does is, you're going to be running a little bit slower on track, but because you have the draft, you'll still be, connected to the cars in front of you, but that'll shorten up your pit stops. It'll allow you to extend the amount of time you're on track in case a yellow comes. If you're, pitting after everybody else's pit and then a yellow comes out, you're probably going to benefit from that. There are some situations where you won't, but it's going to be fuel saving throughout the whole 500 miles. And then once you get in that final fuel window, it's let it rip. You'll see alternate strategies because there will be cautions. I mean, we've never had an Indy 500 in modern era with no cautions. So there will be cautions. That's going to shake up the strategy. And sometimes if you're in that mid-pack on back, you want to get on the alternate sequence from the leaders just to do something different in case those yellows fall in your favor. Suddenly you cycle to the front and you're leading the Indy 500. That's what happened to Marcus Ericsson last year. He was a mid-pack car for most of the race, cycled to the front, caught a good break. Unfortunately, Alex Palou in the main strategy still passed him, but they finished 1-2 until Ericsson was disqualified for some illegal stuff done to his car.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about some new names that I want that people should be keeping an eye on here. Anyone here, whether it be like sort of towards the back of the board or the middle of the board, who you think has a shot to sort of shock people on race day versus their given odds?
Yeah, I think there's a few drivers. And if we want to talk like newcomers, I'm not going to exactly focus on the rookies, but some of the second, third year drivers, Christian Rasmussen. So not Christian Lundgaard, Christian Rasmussen is 30-1 right now. And he is an oval specialist. His only career win came on an oval last year. And in the Indy 500 2 years ago, he started in the back, charged his way up into the top 6 before fading to 12th. And then last year, he finished 6th. So I think he is poised to perform just as well as those past couple years, maybe even better, look to improve upon that 6th place finish. His teammate Alexander Rossi has been one of the quickest drivers all week. So we know they have fast cars there over at Ed Carpenter Racing. And then if we do want to talk rookies, Caio Collet, he is a rookie for AJ Foyt Racing. He's been on top of the time charts for most of the 2 weeks of practice and qualifying. Had a technical infraction, which sent him all the way to the back of the field for qualifying. He's not a guy I'm looking to bet to like win or top 3, but if there's eventually some group bets or head-to-heads, things like that, where he's maybe paired against some of these other rookies, Caio Collet is one name to watch for AJ Foyt Racing. David Malukas ran for AJ Foyt Racing last year and ultimately finished second after Ericsson was disqualified. So we know that team has speed.
All right, so Caio Collet, and we're looking at Christian Rasmussen. Obviously, again, not too many markets posted on FanDuel, but as we get closer to race day, I assume we're going to see some more markets pop. Right now, there's only the race winner available and top 3 finisher. If you had to make, I'm not going to limit you to one bet. Are there some names sticking out to you that you haven't mentioned already that you'd like to take as the race winner, or just to finish in the top 3?
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing I do want to say, we do have final practice tomorrow. Hopefully we get it in. There's potentially some weather that might cancel that practice, but that's going to be a big day because Alexander Rossi had a huge crash on Monday practice, which was the last time they're on track. He injured his wrist. He injured his ankle. And then Pato Award was caught on it, as was Romain Grosjean. So really important to see how those cars are going to be performing once they're rebuilt after the big crash on Monday. So final practice there. But to the bets. David Malukas, I just mentioned him. He finished second for AJ Foyt Racing last year. This year, he is on Team Penske, one of the big dogs. He is an oval specialist. He's been doing amazing on the road and street courses as well. I think he currently sits 4th in the point standings. But David Malukas, honestly, I would make him a favorite over Alex Palou in this one. I like David Malukas as the race favorite for me to win this Indy 500. He's starting up near the front. And he is going to be challenging Alex Palou from the get-go. I actually think David Malukas is my race favorite. I love betting him at 8-1. If you can find anything longer out there, certainly get that. And then I'll take his top 3 finish as well at plus 220. I think David Malukas will be the car to beat this weekend.
What's it about his car that you think is going to do better than Alex here? Is it just simply like, do you think manufacturer the car is just better? Is he a better driver? Just course fit? What's the main thing here?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of course fit, right? Like I said, he's an oval specialist, and Alex Palou is not an oval specialist. They're both great at all forms, but in terms of like their strengths compared to the others. And then Team Penske is just the dominant team here. We saw Joseph Newgarden win 2 years in a row. It was Palou last year, but 2 years before that, it was Joseph Newgarden. We've seen so many drivers, whether it's Helio Castroneves, Will Power, Juan Montoya, all win for Team Penske here at this track. Penske owns the series and owns the track, right? This is their Super Bowl. I mean, it's all the drivers' Super Bowl, but I think this is just a spot where David Malukas has looked so great in practice, has had so much speed, whether it's qualifying trim, race trim, and this is a perfect fit of a race course for him. So I like him better than Alex Palou, and he's way longer odds.
Yeah, so maybe hopefully as we creep on closer to the race, we can get to maybe like top Penske head-to-heads with Malukas as well, and we'll try and tackle them all different ways. One of the interesting stories heading into this weekend, you mentioned it's a pretty big weekend in racing. Catherine Legg trying to attempt, I forget what it's called here, but she's going to try and race the Indy 500, then go on and race the Coca-Cola 600. How just insane is that?
Oh, it's crazy, and it's so hard for drivers to complete. We saw Kyle Larson try to do it twice. The first year, he didn't even get to race the NASCAR race because of the rain in Indianapolis, pushing the finish back. He didn't even make it to Charlotte in time. And it's just so hard to do. Only one driver ever has completed all 1,100 miles. I'm excited for Catherine Legg, the first woman to try it, the first non-American to try it. She has a good car for the Indy 500. She's teammates with Santino Ferrucci and Caio Collet in the AJ Foyt Racing stable there. So this is the best car she will have ever had at the Indy 500. I'm excited to see her race there. In NASCAR, she's competing in probably the worst equipment in the field, or the second worst equipment in the field. So don't expect her to do any damage over there. Just complete as many laps as possible. That's going to be an impressive feat. Hopefully the weather cooperates both in Indianapolis and in Charlotte, so we get to see as much of the 1,100 miles as possible. I don't have faith that she'll complete the full 600 just because that car isn't up to snuff.
All right. Just quickly before you head out here, the Coca-Cola 600. I know I didn't really give you any heads up here, but if you have any bets for this stuff for NASCAR as well, feel free to fire away.
Yeah, give me Chase Briscoe to win the race. I think he was around 14-1. So he's down to 10-1 now at FanDuel. So that's pretty thin. But earlier in the week, he was around 14 or 16. If you can find that number anywhere, I definitely would get him. He's had a lot of speed at the intermediate tracks, just coming off a great all-star race at Dover. And back when he was with Stuart Haas Racing, a smaller team, he finished second here at the Coca-Cola 600. So Chase Briscoe now with the big dogs at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe, 10-1. Shop that around as well. You might be able to find a better price. Nick, appreciate you joining the show. Before you head out, I see the Commander's hat as well. You got to explain the fandom allegiance to me.
Yeah, so I grew up in Virginia, right?
Okay.
So Washington, D.C. is right there. Yeah. Went to grad school in NC State and then flew out to Vegas about a little over a decade ago.
All right, makes perfect sense. Appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Nick on Twitter at RotoDoc. Nick, thank you for joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Appreciate it.
Great stuff there from Nick. As always, awesome stuff. It's a reminder, David Malukas is who we're liking in the Indy 500. You can find him at 8-1 on FanDuel, or if you like him in the top 3 as well, you can get that at plus 220. Keep your eyes peeled. Maybe we can get some more markets available on David Malukas that we can attack. And then we got Chase Briscoe as well, 10-1 for the Coca-Cola 600. All right. Before we get into our next guest, before we bring on our next guest, just quickly, want to remind you guys, I don't know if you heard about this. I kind of spoiled it yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to, but today I definitely can talk about it. We're adding a second live Circle Back every single week to the rotation. So the Circle Back episode that usually drops Friday morning, we recorded on Thursday, and we were like, you know what? Let's just make it live. Why not? It's going to debut today, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to say maybe 4 p.m. Eastern time because if Kanish is on, it'll probably be live at 4:07. That guy is never on time. It's 4 p.m. Eastern time on the Circles Off YouTube channel. Be there or be square. Now's your chance to go tell Joey Kanish in real time what you really think of his opinions. 4 p.m. Eastern time today, Circles Off YouTube channel. Don't want to miss out. Iffy Hellas 9974 is saying they'll be at the Indy 500 Sunday. Yes, sir. Enjoy. That's going to be incredible. Crack a cold one for me. Crack a Bud Light. That's going to be sick. Maybe we can get, if you're in the Discord, give us like a boots on the ground update. Would be very cool to see. All right. He's in the background, so we might as well bring him on. It's our second guest, a soccer bettor, World Cup traveler. You've seen him on this show plenty of times. Drunken Goon. Goon, how's it going?
Pretty good.
All right. Well, I can only see one of those jerseys. What are those jerseys in the background? You got to fill me in here.
It's Canada time.
Oh, it's
the firm.
All right. I love it. Davies is back there. Beautiful. All right. We're going to talk some World Cup stuff. I'm going to say that towards the end, though. Let's talk quickly about Arsenal winning the Premier League. How big is that for that club, for their fans? How did you feel like the entire year watching them sort of claw their way through the season to win? Just talk to me about Arsenal winning the Premier League, how important it is to them.
It's big for them. I mean, they've been winning since Wenger's era. They went through a bunch of coaches. They spent the money and they finally got there. Not a fan, but gotta appreciate that. They did not choke it.
Yeah, honestly, like we were kind of waiting all year for them to choke it. There was one point when like they were flipped, when Man City flipped them. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when Man City flipped them in the odds, but ended up winning and pulling out a big win. Now they have the Champions League coming up, which they might be focusing on next week. Let's talk Premier League though, because it's the last week of Premier League. Tons of betting opportunities. How do you want to do this? You want to kind of go game by game because there's so many different. We talked about this earlier in the week with I believe it was Anthony DeMundo. Maybe it was last week. There's so many different teams in different situations. Some teams are fighting for their lives to stay out of relegation. Some teams are just in the middle of the pack. A win isn't going to do anything for them. A loss isn't going to do anything for them. You got teams who might be a little bit hungover, like Aston Villa, who just won the Europa League. You want to kind of go game by game and let's talk through the motivations for each team to see if we can find an angle. All right, let's start with Brighton and Man United. Man United sitting in the top 3. Brighton favorite right now at -120. It's I think because they're trying to compete for the Europa League. Talk us through this game here.
So there's a scenario where Brighton might actually get into Champions League. So what needs to happen is they have to win. Forest has to win, and Man City has to win. Then they finish 6th, and because Forest wins over Villa, Villa drops. They get the automatic spot based on the Europa League win. And then England gets 6 teams in the Champions League. So that's the scenario for Brighton to win. Man United have nothing to play for. They locked up third. So yeah, Brighton or nothing here.
Brighton or nothing here. Brighton right now situated, like you mentioned, 7th, but could surpass and jump up into 5th place here. Brighton,
and they'll get an Europa League spot anyway.
Yes, yeah.
But Champions League would be massive for them too.
Yeah, and these games are all happening at the same time, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like the last Sunday football where all the games happen at 1 a.m. So no one's
can't afford to fix anything.
Exactly. Next game we have here is Burnley versus Wolves. Wolves just like the worst team in the league, been at the bottom of the table, 19 points. Burnley sort of middle of the pack. Burnley, the 2 last place teams.
Relegated too, yeah,
both relegated. What are we doing with this? Is this just like is this a pride game?
The term wooden spoon.
No, explain it to me.
Or in French, lanterne rouge.
Explain.
So basically, the last place team, they get it's a rugby term for wooden spoon. Last place in the 5 or 6 Nations Cup now gets the wooden spoon trophy. So in this one, Wolves get out of last with a win. Burnley finishes 19th with a draw or win. I expect this one to be open game and kind of wave goodbye to their fans before they drop down and take their chances and go for it.
Yeah, so maybe it could be a fun one. Maybe how would you talk to them? Maybe like a total over or like nothing here?
I would look at the over, maybe a live over as well. I haven't bet anything on this, but yeah, that's the only. I wouldn't touch the unders with the 6 foot.
All right, let's go with Man City and Aston Villa. Obviously, like you mentioned, Villa needs to win here because if they lose, there's a scenario where they can get bumped by Brighton and bumped out of the Champions League here.
Not really. They get a Champions League no matter what because they won the Europa League.
Okay,
but
true. Yeah.
If they do get bumped down, England gets an extra team. So the dilemma for do it for the country or do it for themselves. If they get bumped, then they go into the playoffs as opposed to a better later start in the competition. So they're still motivated by that, but having just played the Europa League final,
a little hangover.
I think Man City needs to redeem themselves after that last game against Bournemouth. So
yeah, so
mine into the post here minus 120 or better.
Okay, what was that? Minus 120 or better? 1.5.
Sorry. My bad. It's minus. Yeah, minus 1.5, minus 120.
Okay, minus 1.5, minus 120 is we're looking at for Man City against Villa there. Hopefully we get the Villa hangover. Fulham and Newcastle. Anything to look at here? Both these teams are sort of middle of the table. Don't think they can really jump anywhere.
Nothing there for me. Like absolutely nothing. Basically, they're playing against each other to finish higher. There's a little bit of money involved, but not touching that one.
All right, Sunderland and Chelsea. Chelsea's kind of like holding on to the last spot of the Europa Conference League qualifiers. Is this more important for Chelsea then?
No, so Sunderland can actually leapfrog Chelsea with the win. So they only get to Europe with the win. Chelsea also need the win to move up and maybe move from conference to Europa League. So both teams should be fully motivated here.
All right, any lean for this one?
I have the over 275, but plus money, plus 102 at the rival book.
All right, let's breeze through this one. Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Again, Arsenal, they're the champions. Nothing really to for them. A win doesn't really get them anywhere here. Do you think that maybe Arsenal might save themselves for the Champions League next week?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they will get their trophy and they will. Take a tour of the stadium, whatever they need to do. Crystal Palace also looking forward to the Conference League final in midweek next week. Bad news for the Americans. I just heard that Chris Richards has a torn ligament in his ankle, and he's probably going to miss the Europa League final and is doubtful for the World Cup. So that's a big blow for the Americans.
All right, next one we have here is Liverpool and Brentford. Liverpool, are they locked in to their spot right now? Because with goal differential, so that 59 points, 3 points ahead. So I guess not as important for them. But for Brentford, they have a chance to, like you mentioned, with Sunderland, bump Chelsea if they can get a win. And maybe Chelsea, or hold on, wait, how does this work? They would need Sunderland and Chelsea to tie. Yeah, they would need Sunderland and Chelsea to tie for Brentford to have a chance. The Brentford would need to win to get to bump Chelsea. So if Chelsea and Sunderland tie, maybe keep an eye on Brentford, or if they're tying, maybe keep an eye on Brentford and if they win, they might be able to get in.
Because of that extra spot that we discussed earlier, they can still with a win. They can get to for Brentford.
I feel like I'm Charlie, like in
that's the one. That's what I was saying.
I'm like all over the place here.
It's called, but yeah, that's the one.
All right, a couple more games left here. Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth. Again, Nottingham Forest not really playing for anything, can't get relegated. Again, I guess they'd be playing for money is the only thing for position in the standings. Bournemouth as well. It all depends on if Villa, it sounds like, you get that extra spot. So where motivation lies.
With a draw, they get the 6th spot, but they need Liverpool to win to get a Champions League spot. So they're big Liverpool fans.
All right, so they're cheering for Liverpool this week. Let's go West Ham Leeds and then save the most fun. All right, let's talk them.
Yeah, the last two.
Let's talk to them both at the same time. West Ham Leeds and Tottenham and Everton. Both Tottenham and West Ham need to win this game. If Tottenham loses, of course, and West Ham wins, Tottenham gets relegated.
No.
No.
So Tottenham stays up with a point because of goal differential. So West Ham actually needs to win, and they need Spurs to lose.
Okay, so if West Ham wins, Tottenham loses, they get relegated. Okay.
So I got a bet on the West Ham Leeds over 275 minus 109 on that one. And I forgot to mention I have a Sunderland Chelsea over 275 bet as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if we're sitting here, let's say it's 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, West Ham, Tottenham, both their games finished. What do you see as the result for both these teams?
I think Tottenham is going to pull out a win against Everton and make the other result irrelevant.
All right. Well, just for George's sake, I hope the Spurs lose, and I hope West Ham wins, just so that they get relegated. Chad is clamoring. Do you have any MLS bets for us this weekend?
So I got 2 MLS bets. One's obvious: Red Bulls to win at KC plus 113, and the other one is Charlotte. This one's interesting because I bet Charlotte minus a half, minus 113. And then the book moved against me automatically to minus 112, so I had to pop it again. So I got a 2-unit bet on Charlotte.
That's always the worst feeling in the world when you bet something and you just get moved.
I took it personally.
Yeah, it's good. No, that's honestly, if you feel like you have an edge there, you got to click it again. That's the best way to handle things. Let's flip over and talk. Any other MLS bets for this week, or that's it?
Just the 2. This is an interesting week because it's the last one before the World Cup break. And we already seen 2 coaching moves, and there might be some players that leave on vacation early, or they get injured, or the typical way of avoiding that last game of the season. So what I prefer to do is wait till the last minute, see the lineups, and then maybe have a couple more plays.
All right, let's flip over and talk some Champions League then. PSG, Arsenal. Talk me through this game. Anything you like in terms of who's going to lift the trophy, total in the game. Talk me through this game. Anything you like.
So we've been touting PSG the whole season, and right now they're sitting minus 145 to win the trophy, which I think is outside my range. I would play minus 130 or better at this point if I didn't have any stake in it going forward. I think they win, but Arsenal's going to give them a game. So this one's a bit of a coin flip, but I think eventually PSG pulls it up.
If you didn't have a bet right now on PSG, because we talked about them all year, sort of in the futures market, like, is Arsenal plus 120? We talked about this with Anthony last week. Is it starting to get drift out a little bit too far now?
I think so, because with the confidence of having taken the EPL title and not having a lot of injuries, they're coming in ready to go. They're going to give it their best shot. They have the ability to pass through the PSG press, which is the one thing that, if you remember last year at the Club World Cup, Chelsea did really well. I don't know if there's any other team in Europe this season that can do that, but Arsenal has that ability. If I didn't have any action, I would lean Arsenal to lift the trophy at those prices.
Yeah.
But
all right.
We sit here with
PSG futures.
Fans of PSG.
Yeah. No, I think we're in the same boat here, as you mentioned, all season, PSG to lift the trophy. So we got those in the back pocket. Anything you like in terms of total on this game? How do you see this game sort of playing out? So
it's a style thing, right? If Arsenal imposes their will, it's going to be a low-scoring game. They win 1-0, 1-1, maybe it can go to extra time. If PSG gets ahead, it's going to open up, and then they have the ability to hurt them in transition. So, have maybe the best option is to have a look at it live, see how it starts and how it looks.
All right. Yeah.
A couple of quick ones.
Go ahead.
In Italy, Juventus already pretty much bottled the Champions League spots, and they're playing against rivals Torino. Basically meaningless game. They only get into Champions League if Roma fails at Verona. So the market is Torino plus 1.25, minus 108. I think that one gets home pretty comfortably.
All right, so we're back in Torino then. Don't tell Rob. We have a little bit of time left here. I was going to ask you about some World Cup stuff. You want to talk about the rosters that have been announced so far?
We've got about a third of them. Brazil, Germany, Portugal, they're all out. France is out as well. I've looked at the not selected for France, and that team could probably make the World Cup quarters comfortably. They have so much talent that it's crazy. Germany's came out today, and there were some interesting things in there. They chose to pick a couple of veterans over younger players, and there's big debate online about are you building for the future? Are these guys over the hill? But you want to win, and you want to win now. You go with the best players. So I don't mind bringing Rudiger and the likes there.
All right. Any decisions that shocked you, or anything that stuck out to you that you just don't agree with?
There's a couple in Belgium. They left some younger players home as well. I think the coaches are basically selecting players for their jobs rather than for the federation and development. So that's pretty obvious across the board. Teams want to be competitive now, and development be damned.
Yeah, no, of course. I always understand the development angle of things, but you want to win the World Cup, right? So, Goon, I know you're going to be traveling quickly before you head out here. Give me your the venue in which you're most excited to visit, or the city in which you're most excited to visit on your World Cup travels.
I think it has to be Kansas City.
Okay.
It's just that they make it easy for the fans to get in and out. They have like a new transportation system that they just brought in for the World Cup. There's barbecue, there's music festivals, and I mean the game specifically. I'm going to see Algeria against Austria, and it's for those old enough to remember. It's a revenge game for Algeria because of the shenanigans between West Germany, and Austria in 1982 at the Spanish World Cup. Basically, with the loss 1-0 to Germany, both Austria and Germany went through, and Algeria went home. So it's revenge time. People have a long memory in North Africa.
All right, revenge time there. The earliest World Cup memory I have is the French team sitting on a bus. So that's like about as far back as my World Cup knowledge goes.
Is that the South Africa one?
Yeah. When they was it Evra?
They go.
They sent home Anelka.
Okay, they went on strike.
Yeah, that one. Anyways, Goon, appreciate you joining the show. Appreciate you coming on here, and we'll chat soon.
All right, have a good one.
Great stuff there. You can follow Goon on Twitter at Drunken Goon. Link is in the description down below. We know who we're rooting for this week. We are rooting for West Ham. We are rooting against Spurs. We are rooting for Everton. Let's get George a little sad, and we'll talk about that with him tomorrow. If you don't remember Roberto Baggio missing the penalty kick, you're too young. Well, maybe I just have a bad memory. Maybe I was just hitting the head a lot, George. I don't know. Anyways, we got one more guest coming on in just a minute here, but we'll talk some MLB with Vlad. But I know you freaks always love when we have a little bit of hockey talk, so I'm going to try and mix in some hockey talk there. Crazy night last night. I think we had a really good angle, and I'm a little bit pissed that we got the news of the Cale Makar injury so early in the day, because I wanted that to be my dog today. Had to switch up, had to take the Vegas Golden Knights to win the series. One of my biggest regrets, though, of that is I kind of had to switch on the fly. I like that number at around plus 205 is what it was yesterday. I wish I attacked a little bit harder, because if Makar's not playing today, it didn't play yesterday, and Makar's not playing Friday, things are going to be a little... I would be very, very nervous with this Colorado team. I'm curious to hear your thoughts as well in the chat. I did not like the way that they looked without Makar. Makar is obviously incredibly important in this team, but he is such an engine. He logged so many minutes for this Colorado Avalanche team. He was like one of the major reasons why they won the Cup with the amount of minutes he's played. But you're not just losing out on him as a player. You're trying to fill in his minutes with guys like Sam Malinsky, Brett Burns. Like, the decor just doesn't hold a candle. It's like you cannot get that replacement. You can't replace Cale Makar in the aggregate if we're going to moneyball it here. It's impossible to do. And I think the Vegas Golden Knights, as good as McKinnon is, is a stronger team when the Colorado Avalanche don't have Cale Makar. And I think my biggest regret yesterday was not attacking things more aggressively for this Vegas Golden Knights team. I really like this team. If Makar is not, like, the biggest risk is if Makar comes back. But if Makar is not coming back, I would be very, very, very scared if I were the Avalanche. I still like the Golden Knights, -1.5 plus 172. I still think that's a great bet. Brian D in the chat mentioning Stone. Is Stone going to be back for game 2? Honestly, I'm not really sure. But Stone is not as big of a loss as Cale Makar is to this team. And I think Cale Makar, crazy take, I think in the analytics community, Cale Makar is actually underrated. I think there's a lot of things he does off the puck that cannot really be quantified right now with data that Cale Makar does really well that just isn't being factored in. So the line for next game, Vegas Golden Knights plus 155, Avs -188. This seems like a Makar priced in he might play. But if he missed the last game, he's day to day. I don't even if he does play, is he going to be 100% Cale Makar? And if he's not, it's a big problem for the Colorado Avalanche. Big problem for the Colorado Avalanche. Jack in the chat saying up the Spurs, even more reason to keep me off the air. The Spurs fans are not happy with me today. That's all right. That's all right. I'm just here to troll George. That's all it is. All right. Before we get in our next guest and before we bring on Vlad in just a second here, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder about our friends over at Forward Progress, because even when it's in the offseason, the NFL is still king in North American sports. And the guys at Forward Progress have been absolutely killing it with their offseason content lately. This month, they cranked out a bunch of tier list videos, including a wide receiver tier list, a quarterback tier list, which I heavily disagreed with, and a defense tier list. Go check out their Tuesday video where they drop the wide receiver tier list. But also, today, we got another heater, head coach tier list. Very interesting to see this one. Is Ben Johnson going to be in the top 5? I think he's earned his status as a top 5 head coach. Where's Andy Reid? Kansas City has not looked good the past couple years, but reputation alone, he deserves to be up there. If I had to guess one coach to be overrated in this list, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one. It's probably going to be Kyle Shanahan. I haven't seen the list yet. I'm just going to guess. I'm going to guess that Shanahan's going to be a little bit overrated here. You can check this out on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. 4 p.m. Eastern time is when the video drops today. Forward Progress YouTube channel, 4 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch it before, but probably watch it after Circle Back. Circle Back's going to be live. This one is not going to be live. Oh, George is saying Hitman stopped me from putting Ben Johnson higher. I cannot wait to see where he ends up. All right. I'm excited for this video, George. I see you in the chat. I see your comments there. Excited for it. Excited for it. All right. Let's get into our next final guest here. Let's get into some baseball. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. He's the head of MLB over at FTN Fantasy. He's a writer for Fangraphs and Rotographs. The FTN Baseball podcast host, Vlad Sedler. Vlad, how's it going?
What's going on, Alex? Good to see you, man. I love to hear that hockey talk.
Yeah, listen, I am super hyped and love hockey so much. So the freaks who watch our show absolutely love hockey as well. So whenever we have a show where we don't have hockey going on, I grew up on it. I've lived in Canada my entire life, played it my entire life. So I just love it. I loved it. We talked about it a lot yesterday. No hockey today, so I had to give the people what they wanted with just like that little 5-minute interval of some hockey talk here. Listen, I've followed your work for many years. I'm not great at fantasy baseball, but I like to think that you helped me out quite a bit here. And excited to get into things for today. I'm not sure if you saw the questions I sent you on Twitter, but if not, all good. Let's dive into things. First question I have is about barrel rate. I was listening to the Rates and Barrels podcast this past week, and there's sort of a growing trend that barrel rate isn't as strong as a predictive metric as it's been in the past. The biggest player you're looking at is like Fernando Tatis, who's able to hit the ball very hard, but is like struggling to put together any counting stats, which actually matter. Do you agree that barrel rate is sort of losing its status as like a good quality metric, a contact quality metric? And where are you sort of leaning towards more now?
Yeah, I think it's always part of a bigger picture and a bigger puzzle. So with that, a lot of people, when a new stat is introduced, and of course that's many years ago, a lot of times sort of gravitate towards it instead of including it as part of an overall picture. So when I'm looking at a hitter's overall power metrics and their production, in addition to barrel rate, I'm looking at their isolated power. I'm looking at their average exit velocity. The last season or so, I'm incorporating bat speed into the mix, and then of course I want to know their hard hit rate, because you will see a lot of variance. I mean, they're sometimes unexplainable. If you're just looking at barrel rate, you're like, oh, why does this guy have so many home runs and such a low barrel rate, and and vice versa. Of course, launch angle comes into play. So when I'm looking at it, it's almost best to sort of formulaically include it as part of an overall picture and not by itself.
All right, so let's talk about Fernando Tatis then. Is this like it, or I guess we can lump in a couple other players. I don't know if anyone comes off to the top of your mind as well. We know that the pull rate is the issue there with him. Is there anything else you see in terms of, like, does he have a chance in terms of coming back and being able to pull the ball, or is this just like a fundamental hitting issue for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been able to do it his entire life, and so I think it's only a matter of time. I understand 50-game sample; it's about almost a third of the season. It's a long time for a guy like Tatis not to have home run, and of course, with how hard he's hitting the ball, I think he'll get there. Over my Discord, I have a bet. Someone was like, "Oh, Tatis isn't going to hit over 15 home runs," and I said, "Yes, I think he will." And so we have a we have a wager at that. With that, it really just a matter of if he stays healthy, right? If Tatis stays healthy, I think he'll get over that mark, and he's going to be probably cheaper in fantasy next season. He's too good of a hitter to not be able to figure it out. So I'm kind of betting on it working out and sort of progressing towards his career mean over time.
All right, so you're telling me I got to go find the Fernando Tatis fantasy owner and just go lowball him on a trade offer right now to try and grab him and help him for my team this year?
They got to be frustrated. You probably get it for cheap.
All right. Sounds good. Let's get into the next thing we have here. It's the ABS challenge system. And I was trying to figure out in my head ways to attack preseason ABS in terms of fantasy or in terms of betting. It sounds like it's shrunk the strike zone a little bit this year. Is that sort of affecting pitchers negatively? Are pitchers as a whole sort of getting bumped down in the fantasy landscape with the strike zone effectively getting smaller?
That would be like my working theory, but if you're looking at kind of overall numbers for the season, and obviously, batting average, a lot of people in the community, obviously they make fun of it for a reason. Like, why are we using batting average? But at the end of the day, it is the actual result of what's happening. And if you're looking at the league 50 games into the season, I think the league average is like 241, which is lower than what it's been over the last couple of years. You've got so many pitchers at the top who are just dominating. All these guys like Cam Schlittler, Chase Burns, Chris Sale again. I mean, these guys have minuscule ERAs. They're not giving up any runs. They are, they're just getting batters out. So I know that just doesn't really exactly answer your question. It's just one part of the equation, but I think we need a little bit more time to see how ABS impacts it and how we can assess it for the future.
All right. You mentioned Cam Schlittler is one of the better pitchers in the league so far. He's been great. I want to talk quickly AL Cy Young here. Skubal going down opens up the field for everyone else. Schlittler and our boy Dylan Cease, being from Toronto, are the two front runners as of right now. Any opinion you have for this AL Cy Young race and how it'll shake out? I know we're, again, 50 games in the season. There's still 110 games, 112 games to be played for every single team here. We're going to be plenty more starts for these guys. But anyone you like, do you think Cam Schlittler and Dylan Cease are the deserving front runners? Anyone towards the back who might be like a sleeper who you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call him a sleeper. This is like literally one of the best pitchers in baseball. I'm talking about Brian Wu of the Seattle Mariners, right? Like I'm looking at him at 40-1 right now. You look at his starts over the last few. If you look at his overall numbers, he had a couple of bad starts, gave up a lot of home runs, and that's kind of skewed things. But going back to last season, he's legitimately been a top 5 starter. He needs to get lucky to get some run support and have a win total that's high enough to be part of the equation. But Seattle in that division, that I feel like is a little weak. I think they're going to be able to get there, just start winning some games. They do have a good team around him, and Brian Wu is just a freak, like incredibly low walk rate. Strikeout rate is he may not be like a 250 strikeout guy like Schlittler and Cease are aiming to be here, but if he can keep up with them and wins, and Seattle wins their division, I think that's a pretty strong bet there.
Yeah, sticking with the, I guess he's probably not a contender to win the Cy Young here, but Davis Martin's kind of surprised people and kind of come out of nowhere. What about his, like, have you popped a look under the hood? What about him is making things work? Like, how is he making stuff work? And like, what's been the main attribute to his success so far this season?
I mean, the one thing is his control. Location is incredible. He's really stepped it up in that regard. Usually he's been a 8% plus walk rate guy, 10% in the minors, and even his first couple years struggling in the majors. He's cut that down incredibly. So I think it's like under 5% right now. Opposition barrel rate, there it is again, against them has decreased. And the swinging strike rate is up. That's definitely a metric that I'm always keeping an eye on. So this is a guy with a 9.5% swinging strike rate last season. It's 12.5% this season. And that team just has a little bit of different swagger with them, with Murakami and Colson Montgomery hitting bombs. So it's a fun little team. I don't know if they're going to do all that much damage, but they're definitely going to be among the home run leaders. And I think Davis Martin, he's not going to be a sub-2 ERA guy, but I think he's somebody that is definitely going to be a lot more expensive in fantasy drafts next year.
All right, let's flip over and talk the two-horse race for the AL Rookie of the Year, like you mentioned. Murakami absolutely mashing home runs. It feels like the question is he ever gonna stop? Like we know he's striking out a ton this year, but he looks great. McGonigal is the other guy in the race, putting together just like an incredible contact profile. Not hitting as many home runs as Murakami, but getting on base and again good defensively. If you had to lean right now, if you had to lean, I'm not sure if you have a vote. I don't want to like put you on the spot here. If you had to lean right now, or if you were to vote, who would be the AL Rookie of the? Who would you have first for the AL Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, funny you say that. That's exactly the article I started writing last night. I write a weekly article for FTN, and basically I'm talking about.
So, we'll take a second here. It sounds like we lost his audio, so we'll wait for Vlad's audio to come back. Didn't know that he was writing an article on this, so excited to dig into this because Murakami's been an absolute stud. Do we get him back? It sounds like we don't got him back here. No. Oh, yeah, we got you back here. All right, Let's bring him back up here. Sorry about that, Vlad. Yeah. We can hear you now.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I mean, Murakami for me, I think this is he really. We sometimes look at on pace and we're like, can this guy really hit this many home runs? Yes, he absolutely can. I think he's capable of 40 plus. It's definitely in the mix. So yeah, Murakami for me on the AL side.
All right, Murakami, absolute stud, and thank you for that because you're the reason why I got Murakami in my fantasy drafts and drafts. Nice. I'm like way over ADP, but I think it's worth it there. I want to talk about some teams that have been struggling this year: Mets, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Astros. Which of these teams, sort of who have been vastly underperforming, do you think have a chance to sort of bounce back down to like the last 2/3 of this MLB season?
Yeah, I think it's not looking good for the Astros. They just you think the Mets have a bad streak of injuries. It's horrific for the Astros, both on the hitting and the pitching side. I think at some point they're going to be looking to trade Yordan Alvarez, and now Jose Altuve's out, and it's horrific. On top of that, they have the worst pitching in baseball. The Rockies and the Nationals obviously have the worst pitching, but after that, it's the Astros. When you have to rely on Peter Lambert to get you quality starts, you've got a little bit of a problem. So yeah, I would say the Astros are the one team I'd worry about. I think the Mets bounce back. This is what they do, right? Like they're cursed. Sorry, New York fans. There'll come a time where they're just red hot and everybody thinks they're going to, somehow climb and win the division and win the World Series. And then it just, they fail at the end. But with that team, with the Mets, like when you get Francisco Lindor back and Bichette's feeling comfortable, hopefully they get Luis Robert Jr. back. That's a bummer that he's out, of course.
All right, let's flip over and talk just quickly about the Blue Jays here because I know you are a Dodgers fan. What do you think about the Blue Jays' chances of replicating the postseason run that they went on last year? How are they looking in season? I feel like once they get their pitchers back, things might be getting a little bit better for them. But Vlad's been ice cold. Like, give me some hope with Vlad.
I mean, this is a guy that's always plays. He's going to get his 700 plate appearances. He doesn't need to hit 25 home runs as always. He's a pretty much like a 300 hitter. He's going to get going. Okamoto looks good. The pitching staff is solid. Trey Savage, by the way, is a dark horse Cy Young candidate. He's just ripping it right now. I'm not Cy Young. I'm sorry. He still qualified for Rookie of the Year.
I think he is. Yeah.
He is. So he's Savage. I like the team. The problem is the division is tough. The Rays, Yankees, it's going to be tough. So, but I think they can maybe get a wild card in there and get better these next couple months.
Yeah, the AL Rookie of the Year race is crazy with McGonigal, Murakami. You mentioned Savage, DeLauder in there, who's lost power but is slowly figuring things out. Before you head out here, what are some things you've noticed in the first 50 games of the season that you're keeping track of, whether it be a stat, maybe a trend, a player that you're focusing on that you want to keep track of for the rest of the year?
The number one thing is the lesson I seem to be learning year in and year out. Just be careful with the injury guys. You don't have to chase. You're talking about season-long fantasy, for example, or just anything. You don't want to chase all these injured guys because injuries beget injuries, and they just end up getting hurt again. And so, chasing this is finally the year Luis Robert Jr. will stay healthy, or Buxton can stay healthy 2 years in a row, or just anyone you can think of, Francisco Alvarez. I don't know. There's something happens. So it's just a good reminder.
Good reminder not to be out there chasing injuries. Vlad, appreciate you joining the show. Appreciate you coming on. Off the top of your head, give me just two names who I should be focusing on. Maybe whether it be prospects, whether it be rookies, whether it be guys who are maybe rotational players who could get upgraded into their position in the lineup. Just guys who I should be focusing on in my 12-team fantasy league. Just give me two names, a batter and a pitcher.
Mm-hmm. I think Ryan Waldschmidt on the Diamondbacks, somebody that's going to start to move up in the order. I think he's not producing a lot, and people are going to kind of drop him and back off on him. So I think that's an interesting name. And I don't know. Colt Emerson, I think, is somebody that's interesting. He's probably going to stick in the lineup. He may not be picked up in a lot of 12-teamers, but he's a stud prospect, and I think he'll keep getting better.
All right, Vlad, appreciate you joining the show. Appreciate you jumping on today. You can follow Vlad on Twitter at RotoGut. Vlad, thank you for joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Thanks so much, Alex. Take care.
Great stuff there. As always, appreciate Vlad for coming on and sharing the fantasy baseball knowledge with us that we need. Also, thank God he gave me some love for Vlad. But yeah, Alex in the chat, asking, Savage bet down from 22-1 to 15-1 range overnight. We are all Trey Savage. I don't think it's too late. He's 17-1 right now on FanDuel.
Corby's been on him all year.
Maybe we give him out as the dog of the day. All right. Great show today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm still a little all over the place after the Premier League stuff. I think we gotta be absolutely stuck to the Discord on Sunday morning because I feel like that's the best way to attack things live. E. Colt in the chat saying Alex Cooper. That's a good one. E. Colt. Don't forget to join our Discord because I'm sure Goon will be in there talking about all that. Before we head out, Dog of the day. It seems I only like underdogs in the NHL because we are going with, if you're not surprised to hear this, we're going with Montreal to win tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. We're hoping for a little bit of a layoff hangover. Is that what we'll call it? We're hoping that the Habs are a fresher team coming into this. When I say fresher, I mean ready to go off the top. Habs plus 164 on the money line. We're going to take them as the dog of the day against the Carolina Hurricanes. I really think Freddie is going to struggle with this one. I just heard a dog bark in the background. What's going on here?
Yeah, there's a dog barking.
Okay. All right. Is that for a dog of the day?
Yeah.
I thought someone was in the background here. Oh, man. Good stuff. All right. Dog of the day. That's insane. That is insane. Big Papa _33 square ass pick. Thank you. I'm sure you said the same thing about the Montreal Victoire last night after they raised the Walter Cup minus 120. Thank you very much. All right. Habs plus 164. We are all Habs. Vive l'habitant. Hopefully I said that right. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Yeah, that's it. That wraps up today's show. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Goon. Shout out to Vlad for coming in, sharing their time, and sharing their knowledge with us. Shout out to Mike, keeping things clean behind the board. Shout out to you guys in the chat, keeping things on the rails as I like to go off the rails. Appreciate you guys. Reminder, Circle's off. Go check out Circle Back live, 4 p.m. Eastern time. After that, Forward Progress YouTube video. Go check that out as well. Head coach tier list. Big Papa just like really hammering the square. Wow. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in here. Man, this has been the Thursday, May 21st edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We will see you guys right here tomorrow.